Robert Louis Stevenson was a writer who stood for the unbridled power of imagination and the unflinching pursuit of truth. His life was a testament to the human spirit's capacity for resilience, marked by struggles with illness, personal turmoil, and artistic innovation that somehow coalesced into timeless tales like Treasure Island and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. Stevenson's story is one of a man who lived as fiercely as he wrote, and that's what makes his legacy so damn compelling. Stevenson's early life was a battleground of sorts, his body weakened by tuberculosis, a disease that would haunt him throughout his days. Yet, it was in these frailties that he found a spark for his writing, a testament to the human spirit's capacity to transform suffering into art. His childhood, spent in Edinburgh, Scotland, was marked by a strict Calvinist upbringing, which would later influence his explorations of morality and the human condition in works like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. As a young man, Stevenson was drawn to engineering, following in his family's footsteps, but it wasn't long before he abandoned this path for the pursuit of literature. His educational journey took him to the University of Edinburgh, where he studied law, though his true interest lay elsewhere, in the world of letters. It was during this time that he began to develop his writing voice, influenced by the likes of Charles Dickens and the Romantic poets. The call of adventure, both literal and literary, was strong in Stevenson. He embarked on a journey to France, where he met Fanny van de Grift Osborne, an American woman who would become his wife. This period of his life, marked by travel and personal upheaval, laid the groundwork for some of his most enduring works. Treasure Island, with its themes of rebellion, morality, and the quest for identity, stands as a prime example of how Stevenson's life experiences seeped into his writing. Stevenson's relationship with other writers of his time was complex. He admired the likes of Henry James, yet their friendship was not without its tensions, reflecting the broader debates within the literary world about the role of the writer and the nature of fiction. Despite these controversies, Stevenson remained committed to his vision, a vision that sought to explore the depths of human experience through storytelling. In his works, Stevenson grappled with significant themes: the duality of human nature, the allure and danger of the unknown, and the eternal conflict between good and evil. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, in particular, stands out as a masterpiece of psychological insight, its exploration of the dual selves within us continuing to captivate readers to this day. This ability to craft narratives that were both entertaining and profoundly thoughtful earned Stevenson a place among the literary giants of his era. The historical context in which Stevenson wrote was one of great change and upheaval. The decline of Victorian values, the rise of industrialization, and the expanding reach of the British Empire all found their way into his stories. His use of genre, blending elements of horror, adventure, and social commentary, allowed him to address these issues in a way that was both accessible and thought-provoking. Stevenson's time at the University of Edinburgh was pivotal, not just for his studies, but for the friendships and influences that would shape his writing. It was during these years that he befriended Charles Baxter, a fellow student who shared his passion for literature. Their discussions on poetry, philosophy, and life laid the groundwork for Stevenson's future explorations of human nature. Baxter, along with other close friends like Sidney Calvin, formed a circle of intellectuals who encouraged Stevenson to pursue his literary ambitions. The summer of 1873 marked a turning point in Stevenson's life when he met Frances Fanny van de Grift Osborne, an American woman separated from her husband, at the artists' colony of Grez-sur-Loing in France. This encounter would lead to a tumultuous and passionate relationship, with Fanny becoming his wife in 1880 after her divorce was finalized. Their marriage was marked by both deep love and personal struggles, reflecting the complexities Stevenson would later explore in his fiction. As Stevenson delved deeper into his writing, he began to find his voice, particularly in the genre of travel literature. His first published book, An Inland Voyage, 1878, chronicled a canoeing trip through Belgium and France, showcasing his ability to weave narrative with philosophical musings on life and nature. This early work already hinted at Stevenson's unique blend of adventure, introspection, and lyrical prose that would come to characterize his major contributions to literature. Stevenson's relationship with his father, Thomas Stevenson, a successful engineer, was complex. While Thomas wanted Robert to follow in his footsteps, Robert's desire to write caused tension between them. However, it was also during this time that Stevenson began to develop the themes of identity, morality, and the conflict between personal desire and societal expectation that would be central to works like Treasure Island and Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde. The writing of Treasure Island, begun in 1881 while Stevenson was recovering from illness at Braemar in Scotland, marked a significant milestone in his career. Initially intended as a story for his stepson Lloyd Osborne, the tale of Jim Hawkins and the infamous Long John Silver evolved into a classic adventure novel that probed deeper themes of loyalty, greed, and the coming of age. Stevenson's use of vivid characters, coupled with his ability to craft suspenseful narratives, made Treasure Island an instant success upon its publication in 1883. The late 1880s saw Stevenson moving to the Pacific, first to Hawaii and then to Samoa, in search of a healthier climate for his wife Fanny, who suffered from poor health. This period, though marked by personal challenges, was incredibly productive for Stevenson. Works like The Beach of Falesa, 1892, and The Ebb Tide, 1894, co-written with Lloyd Osborne, showcased his continued exploration of the human condition against the backdrop of colonialism and the clash of cultures. In Samoa, Stevenson became deeply involved in local politics, advocating for native rights against colonial oppression. His essays, such as A Footnote to History, 8 Years of Trouble in Samoa, 1892, demonstrated his commitment to social justice and his willingness to challenge the status quo. This activism, alongside his literary output, cemented Stevenson's reputation not just as a storyteller, but as a thinker who engaged with the pressing issues of his time. Stevenson's interactions with other notable writers of his era, including Henry James and Joseph Conrad, highlight the intellectual ferment of the late 19th century. While he admired James's psychological insights, their friendship was also marked by debates over the role of fiction in society, reflecting broader literary discussions about realism, romance, and the responsibilities of the writer. The duality of human nature, a theme that would become synonymous with Stevenson's work, particularly in Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, reflects his fascination with the contradictions within us all. Published in 1886, this novella's exploration of the dual selves, civilized and savage, good and evil, struck a chord with readers, making it an enduring classic of Gothic horror and psychological fiction. As Stevenson navigated the literary landscape, he faced criticisms for his perceived romanticism and the simplicity of his narratives. Some contemporaries viewed his work as lacking the depth and complexity of more realist authors. However, Stevenson's defenders argued that his use of genre-blending elements of adventure horror and social commentary allowed him to address profound themes in an accessible manner, thereby reaching a wider audience than many of his peers. The island's lush landscapes and the complexities of its colonial history seeped into his work, notably in The Beach of Falesa and The Ebb Tide. These tales of love, morality, and cultural clash not only showcase Stevenson's mastery of narrative, but also his growing concern with social justice. His activism in Samoa, where he advocated for native rights against colonial oppression, was not merely a sideline interest. It was an integral part of who he was as a writer and a thinker. Essays like A Footnote to History demonstrate a keen political mind, one that was not afraid to challenge the status quo. This aspect of Stevenson's character is often overlooked in favor of his more famous fictional works, but it's essential to understanding the breadth of his literary output. Stevenson's interactions with other writers of his era offer valuable insights into the intellectual ferment of the late 19th century. His friendship with Henry James, for instance, was marked by debates over the role of fiction in society. While James admired Stevenson's ability to craft compelling narratives, he also criticized him for what he saw as a lack of psychological depth. Stevenson, on the other hand, believed that fiction should be accessible and engaging, capable of reaching a wide audience with its themes and ideas. This debate reflects a broader literary discussion about realism, romance, and the responsibilities of the writer. Stevenson's defenders argued that his use of genre allowed him to address profound themes in an entertaining manner, thereby making literature more inclusive. Critics, however, saw his approach as simplistic, lacking the complexity and nuance of more realist authors. Despite these criticisms, Stevenson remained committed to his vision. Works like Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde continue to captivate readers with their exploration of the human condition. The novella's central theme, the duality of human nature, speaks to something fundamental in us all. It's a testament to Stevenson's skill as a storyteller that he could craft a tale so enduring, one that transcends its gothic horror origins to become a timeless classic of psychological fiction. The historical context in which Stevenson wrote Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde is also noteworthy. The late 19th century was a time of great change and upheaval, with the Industrial Revolution transforming societal norms and challenging traditional values. Against this backdrop, Stevenson's exploration of the dual selves, civilized and savage, good and evil, resonated deeply with readers. It was as if he had tapped into a collective anxiety, one that questioned the very nature of humanity in the face of modernity. He showed us that our natures are complex, multifaceted, and often at war with themselves. In the end, it is this profound understanding of our dualities that continues to captivate readers, inviting us to confront the contradictions within ourselves. As the darkness closes in on Dr. Jekyll, he whispers a haunting truth. "I say goodbye, and for how long, I do not know." Yet, even in farewell, Stevenson's work remains, a testament to the power of storytelling to illuminate our deepest selves. Like this episode if it hit true. Share it if you respect honest talk about authors. Subscribe because we'll do this again. This is Ernest, signing off.